What's up, real world climbers? Welcome back to the headquarters. We're going to be doing some climbing today. I'm also really excited to share with you a little bit about an outrageous challenge that I've instituted on myself. And we'll talk about goals and challenges and New Year's resolutions, all that good stuff. So let's get climbing. So with no delay, let's talk about this right away. The outrageous challenge that I've instituted on myself this year, 2024. So I wanted to do something incorporating the number 2024 of something. And so what I've decided to do is that I'm going to be climbing 2024 V points, specifically benchmark moonboard problems, 2024 of them in this year. Which at first I was like, that's a lot. And then I was like breaking it down by per week, and that would mean I need about 39 to 40 V points per week to accomplish this goal, which seemed very doable. Then I also thought of like, there's gonna be weeks where I'm not climbing at all, so I have to be ahead of that pace. I think it's definitely within reach. It's just going to take discipline and staying healthy and not getting injured. It's going to take regularly accessing different moonboards. I've got the 2016 set here. My buddy Jack has the 2017 set and the 2019 set. And 2019 at 25 degrees set. And then just this year, the 2024 setup for the moonboard was released. There aren't very many benchmarks yet on there, so I'm not really going to be able to utilize that too much. Maybe in the later half of the year, I would be able to utilize that. So why am I doing this kind of numbers-based challenge, numbers-based goal? Well, I needed something to keep me accountable. I needed something that was always going to be in front of me, something that I could track. So I wouldn't consider 2024 benchmark V points to be a goal. It's a challenge, but it's not my goal. My goal for this year is to climb a 513. That's the difference between like goals and challenges, setting resolutions. Hey, I want to be healthier, or I want to climb more. A resolution is great, but you know, if it's not really defined, we're not really going to go for it. You know, to be healthier, what does that mean? To climb more. Okay, how much more? And so I wanted to have something that was very numbers-based that I could track. I'm tracking primarily on a piece of graph paper, kind of analog like that. It's really quite fulfilling to hit a benchmark and to be able to fill in the squares on a piece of graph paper. This is where I'm at so far. We are into the first part of April, so I'm a little bit behind pace, but with a quarter of the year past, I'm almost to a quarter of my goal. If you want to know what 2024 of anything looks like, this is 1000, and then this is 1024. So I have to fill in all of those squares. It looks like a lot, but I feel like I'm doing pretty good. So you can use something similar to this, just like a basic app that tracks goals, and you tell it how many of something you want. And whenever I get one, let's say I got a V4, I just 1, 2, 3, 4, add 4 there. And then obviously I haven't done that yet, so I'm going to take those back off. So why don't I get some shoes on and get warmed up and start climbing some benchmarks, and we'll chat a little bit more about goals and resolutions as we go. Oh man, my back is creaky today. Kind of warming up on some jugs here. Curious to hear from you guys if you guys have any goals for 2024 or weird challenges you're instituting in yourself. Why don't you throw that down in the comments? You might find it kind of interesting that I set a bouldering challenge to myself when my big goal for the year is climbing sport climb of 513. Well, part of it is just access to the moonboards and home walls and bouldering a lot more than I do to ropes. I do have opportunity to get to the gym a bit more often than I used to when my kids were really little, but I would say endurance is still kind of my weakness or something I need to work on. So even though I get to the gym periodically, focus on endurance here in the home wall anyway. But I can also paraphrase a quote from Tony Yaniro, where he says that it doesn't matter about having endurance if you can't even hang the hardest moves or something like that. If you can't do the hardest moves, like what does it matter if you have endurance? You have nothing to endure. Obviously I'm paraphrasing, but I'll put the real quote on the screen here. But it is a good point. Like, I feel really strong, actually probably the strongest I've ever been, and I'm now in my 40s and I'm climbing the strongest. I've been breaking into like V8s and V9s, and I feel really good strength-wise. So now it's just a matter of being able to do the hard moves on a rope route and still have something left in the tank, or to be able to recover on the wall and to keep my headspace in there. That's another big piece that I need to work on so that I can complete the climb. I've had a couple routes outside, kind of in the mid-12s, that I definitely did all the hard moves, and then I pumped out and I couldn't finish on like the easier terrain at the top. It was super frustrating. So I know that I'm close. I just gotta put it all together. So this here that I'm doing is my dedicated endurance weave. First part at least. It's pretty juggy. But if I did the whole thing, it'd be 50 moves one direction, all the way around the entire headquarters. And then reverse it, 50 moves the other way. So even though the holds are huge, I do institute some rules on myself that I don't get any like no hands rests. Because obviously I could stem here, take almost all my weight off my hands. I don't just allow myself to just shake out. So to explain a little bit more about my challenge, I've instituted the 2024 benchmark V points, but I'm also not allowing for repeats. So, or at least not repeats in 2024. So I'm kind of starting over my tracking in 2024. And I know that if I really wanted to, I probably could do like all V3s, V4s, maybe some V5s. There's enough benchmarks to do that, but I also don't want to just do that. So I have kind of this bell curve in my mind of I want to have a certain number of the V points be in the V6, 7, 8 range. And definitely towards the latter half of the year, I'm probably going to have to utilize more of those higher grade routes because I'm going to be running low on the V3s and V4s. I want to kind of have a decent mix, if that makes sense. Prior to this challenge, I've only ever done one V7 benchmark and, you know, a handful of 6s. All right, so I just fired up the app here, and you can see here I've got a bunch with that moon symbol in there, which means I've already done them. But I'm also going to point out like the year here. So my only real rule for myself is no repeats within the same year. So if I've already done it in 2024, I can't count it. So let's go ahead and find a V4 that I haven't done this year. All right, so here's one called Duplicate Test, and I did it in 2021, but that will still follow my rules. Let's go ahead and do this for a warm-up. I also like to try and read the routes, do the best I can at pre-reading them. Efficient. So we did that V4. That means we get to mark it on paper. And then I'm also logging everything in the app. So if you want to follow along on the Moonboard app, and you can see the ones and what points I'm at for that. I'm also putting my Instagram handle on there as well, at Real World Climbing. That way, if any of you want to follow me on Instagram, you can see my progress. After every session, I'm posting like a screenshot of what where I'm at currently. So, Pledge to Hedge 2021, I did do it, but so we're ready to go again. The V4s are feeling pretty chill lately, which means that I feel like I'm getting stronger. So this one's a little bit different than my natural style. Might have some twisting, but it looks pretty square on. And that's not my natural climbing tendency, which is okay. I need to be diverse. So. The other thing that's also I've been trying to work on, which doesn't come naturally to me, is hanging on open drag. And I kind of caught it there. And I think normally, or if I felt desperate, I would feel bad until I got to like a half cramp or maybe even a full cramp. So I think I feel like I'm making some progress in the area of like just trusting the other hand positions. V4. Another thing that might be interesting about the timing of this video is it's April. And you might be like, well, what are you doing talking about New Year's resolutions in April? Well, everybody makes New Year's resolutions in January, right? Or end of December. And so few people stick with them. So just because you like make a goal or make a resolution, and like if things don't go exactly as planned in January or February, you know, life happens. Life has happened to me in these last 3 months, and I gotten behind, then I catch up on my 2024 goal. Or, you know, in previous years, my same goal for climbing a 513 was there, and then I broke my hand one of the years. Or my life was super busy and I didn't even barely get outside to climb at all. Like maybe once or twice the entire season. So there's all this stuff, and I just want to encourage you, like, it's okay to reset a goal. It's okay to recommit or recalibrate just because you're not on pace or just because something happened between January and wherever you're at watching this video. It's okay. Like if it still matters to you, if it's still important, if it's still something that is in your heart or in your guts, like I want to accomplish this, just go again, just start over. Maybe you change things, maybe you tailor things back, or maybe you adjust the time frame, but just be okay with reevaluating, be okay with reinstituting that goal. All right, let's do one more V4, and then we'll move on to some 5s. So it might be hard, it might be off the screen, but there is a second start hold way down here. So it's got this awkward position. Otherwise, I think it's definitely doable. This is gonna be a foothold, tricky foothold. Maybe even a heel hook. See, I'm reading routes. It's pretty fun. Yeah, kind of like this use of this hold over here. It rarely gets used. Jumpy stun. A little bit trickier. Let's move on to V5s here. So many V5s, and I'll tell you why. V5 is 2 French grades, 6C and 6C plus, so that's why there's so many more V5s. So this one, this V5 here, ends on that black one way up there, which is not my favorite ending hold for 2 reasons. It is one of the more polished holds on my wall. But I also don't like it when there's no footholds over here. I don't feel like okay with swinging my feet over here. Whereas if this was like a moonboard that was in a gym, usually it's like wide open space over on the sides. And here obviously it's not. So I got to play with my terrain a little bit. So I don't like just like campusing and letting both my feet swing to do the match on this particular wall. I do have this foothold over here, so I might just do like a leaning finish. Not too bad. Because of that foot, it wasn't too bad. Whoa! That's why they call it Biggie Smalls, I guess. Whew. Interesting start hold combination. Don't see that a lot. Alright, so I'm debating whether I will cross into here first or if I will bump out to here first and then come here. It may actually be the bump first. Initially I read it as coming into here first and then up left and right. But I wonder if it might be better to go left hand here first, then right, then come in, then go out. I think that's what it is. That's what I changed my beta in my mind. Let's see how it goes. Guess. Interesting. Whew. Oh, this one. All right, this one. You might recognize this one. This is the one that I broke my hand on a couple years ago, where I was here and I smacked into this black one and broke my ring finger, or that metacarpal on my ring finger, and then like did my recovery. Actually, I did a whole video about this, and I'll put the link up here about my revenge on that hold for breaking my hand. But then I did do it, so this would be a fun one to do. My trick, or my way to get around it, is don't be way over on the right of this white one. I'm going for the final, so like when I did it, I positioned myself more to the left here, and then I wasn't so scared. But this pinch here is very shallow. I liked, from what I remember, the feet were good on this one though. So this should be no problem, and quite nostalgic. Yeah. No broken hand. Yay. Left hand first to here. Cross, come a little bit lower here. Right hand, left hand. That's pretty much it. Or I could go right hand here, then out here. Bump. I'll try the first way. That is a sharp crimp there. I like it. It's sharp. That felt pretty strenuous. And I'll count it. I did it. But for fun's sake, I'm going to try the other beta. So this doesn't count towards my points. Wasted energy, maybe. But I think it's a learning technique. Try things different ways. Definitely that one was easier. It might be actually easier. Alright, north side. I did try this one recently. This one is pretty tough. Maybe I'm a little bit more fresh. So let's try this one. The other rule I have going for myself is I'm kind of doing like a 3 strikes rule. In any given session, I'm only going to try something 3 times before moving on. Oh yeah, I do remember this one. This move to this, the foot way out there, is quite strenuous. And this black crimp is quite sharp. And what was happening is I have to kind of like go for it dynamic, I feel like. Kind of was missing the best spot. If I get it right where I need it, I think it goes from there. It's just about catching that one just right. See, I did this one a few weeks ago and missed out because of my 3 tries rule. There you go. Nice. Yay. Whew, feel good about that one. Because that one was stumping me for a while. Almost a 500. Usually I have like my buddy Jack climbing with me. And it really helps like having a climbing partner. So we're either climbing at the moonboard at his house or my moonboard or whatever. And it really helps to have a climbing friend or 2, like to increase the psych and motivation and all that good stuff. Jack is actually having shoulder surgery today, the day I'm filming this. So, hey Jack, wishing you the best. Fast recovery. Hope things are going well for you. So today I kind of have to motivate myself. What I'm doing in my mind is I'm kind of pretending that I'm talking to you, like you, my real world climbing community, you're here hanging out with me. So I don't know if you think that's weird or do you like this style of video or what, but why don't you communicate back with me? Let me know down in the comments below if you like this kind of video, if I should do more of it. Oh, missed it. Because this foothold is so good over here to push off of, and I still have my hand down here, I don't know that it's really a pogo. Like I feel like I'm gonna kick the ground. So I think it's just like this arcing, dynamic move to there. And maybe there's a pogo or a similar arcing move over to the right. Ooh, the end was tricky too. I felt like doing that back step was necessary. All right, 505. We crossed 500. Yeah, you were here for it. You were here when I crossed the 500 V points mark. Buldowelt. Buldowelt. I think that's German. That looks fun. This hold here doesn't get a lot of love, so that's kind of cool. You know, one of my best subscribers is my foreign exchange student son, Toby. And Toby probably knows what Buldowelt means. Can you let me know? Toby, I know you'll be watching. Let me know what Buldowelt means. Not too shabby. Quite creative moves though. I like it. I like it. Thank you, Buldowelt. I'm not sure if you can see on this sheet here though. So earlier I had to leave this section right here of 7 blocks blank because if I put a V5 or a V6 there, like a 1 block or 2 blocks, there are no V1s and V2s on the moonboard. So I can either save that slot for a day that I'm climbing at Jack's house where there's V3s and V4s. So a 3 and a 4 would fill that block. Or that's a block of 7 that I can fill today if I do a V7. And I've only got 20% battery life left. Got to keep an eye on that. So why don't we try 7? Why don't we bump up to 7s? We're at 7 tension. Feel like I've tried this one before. Goes to that sharp black one again. This might be another one that I tried on a earlier week. Couldn't get it in the 3 tries. I can't remember exactly. It doesn't move back. Yes, nice. Woo, flashed it. Oh, I did not catch this one very good, but it's just got it good enough to adjust it. All right, that fills in that block for me though. Very nice. Yeah, so that filled in that block quite nicely. No loose ends. But that leaves me another 7 block right here. I either leave a 3 and a 4, or I can fill it with a 7 today. Let's make that a goal. Let's do one more 7. Drive-by finish. That's gonna be a bit freaky for me. I'm gonna feel what it feels like, but right hand here, I don't want to go super dynamic because again, hitting myself over here is not on my game plan. Maybe you could do it more straight on, left foot there, and kind of do a straight up deal. The thing about climbing all by yourself though is not taking enough rests. But then again, maybe that helps me with endurance a little bit. You think? But that little match on there worked. Cool. 2 V7s again. Well, that's just in time. My battery on my GoPro already died, and the battery's getting low on this. Pretty awesome session. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you're liking this type of content, make sure that you let YouTube know that you like it by giving it a thumbs up. And then also make sure you clip the chains on the subscribe button. I'll see you really, really soon.